Good morning, guys. Today we're going to continue our lesson on 4.2, graphing quadratic functions. Go ahead and take out your notes for that. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, if you remember from yesterday, we graphed using vertex form. Vertex form is y equals a times x minus h parentheses squared plus k. That's vertex form. Now, today we're going to go over how to change it from standard form to vertex form. Write down the objective. I'll give you a few seconds for that. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. What if you had an equation in standard form and it's not in vertex form? Can we rewrite it in vertex form? Think about something we've done in the past that looks like vertex form. What does this remind you of? That's right, completing the square. Completing the square. What is this called again? Binomial square. Right, that's a binomial square. So we're going to rewrite this equation so that it looks like vertex form by completing the square. Let's go ahead and start. We're just rewriting the equation. You're not solving. So nothing will be done to the left-hand side of the equal sign. You're not going to do anything to the y. All the work will be done on the right side. So instead of subtracting the 22 to the left, you're just going to push the plus 22, push it to the side. Then you can half and square the 10, the negative 10. So when you half and square the negative 10, what do we get? What do we get right here? 25, right. Now the problem is you're on the right side. You just unbalanced this problem by adding 25. How would you balance the equation? Because you're on the right side of the equal sign, if you add 25, you just made the number bigger. It's 50. So it's unbalanced by 50. You don't add, we need to subtract. That will balance the equation. Now, you just created a perfect square trinomial. Rewrite it as a binomial square. What goes in the inside? Remember, it's half of negative 10, so negative 5. When you add 22 minus 25, what do you get? Negative 3. That ends up being your k. All right, now we're ready to graph. Let's take a look. I rewrote y equals x squared minus 10x plus 22 in vertex form. And we got this. What's the vertex? Remember, the vertex is HK. The opposite of the inside, which is 5, and k, negative 3. Doesn't change. Multiply a. What's a here? 1, right. A is the number in front of the parentheses. Multiply a times your odd numbers. 1, 3, so on and so forth. You could just stop at 3. That will become your rise. So let's go ahead and plot our vertex. 5 to the right and 3 down. The first time you go up 1. And remember, your run is always 1. Match it on the other side. The second time you go up 3. And you run 1. Match it on the other side. Now you're ready to connect the dots. If you want one more, you can go up 5 and you would run 1. But 2 is fine. Oops, sorry, I missed that one. Okay, and that's how the graph would look like. Okay, let's do another one. All right, guys, let's try another one here. We're going to change this in vertex form again by completing the square. Rewrite your problem. Remember, we're going to push that 17, we're going to push it to the side to make room for our new c. Half and square the 8, negative 8. So half of negative 8 is what? And then square that. Okay, what do we get? 16. Good. Remember, we have to balance. So when we add 16, we subtract 16 because we're on the same side. This is our perfect square trinomial. That will become our binomial square. What goes inside the parentheses? X minus 4. Good. K will be 1. You add or you subtract 17 minus 1, and that's K. All right, let's go ahead and graph this. So again, we got y equals parentheses x minus 4 squared plus 1. What's our vertex? The opposite of the inside, which is 4, 1. 4, 1. 4 to the right and up 1. What's A? 1. Multiply by your odd numbers again. You get 1, 3. So the first time you go up 1. Your run, remember, is always 1. Match it on the other side. The second time you go up 3. And you go up 1. I'm sorry, you run 1. Match it on the other side. And that's your parabola. Okay, what would happen if I have a number in front of x squared? What would happen there? Remember that when we did completing the square, in order to half and square your b, a has to equal to what? Do you remember? It has to equal to 1, right? So here we're going to do it a little bit different. Because you're not doing anything to the left of the equal sign, instead of dividing by -2, we are going to factor it out. You're going to factor out the -2. Before you do that, we need to, again, push that 1, push it to the right. All right. You're going to factor out the -2 from just -2x squared minus 4x. not the 1. The 1 stays. Don't forget, when you factor out the negative, the x squared becomes positive, and the minus 4x becomes positive also, positive 2x. Now you can half and square the 2. So what's half of 2 and square that? 1. You're going to add 1 here, and remember, you subtract 1 to your k, to this number outside. Now, there's a problem though. Technically, if you were to distribute this back, you didn't unbalance the problem by 1. Technically, when you multiply negative 2 times 1, you unbalanced it by negative 2. So you have to balance it by adding 2 on the right side. Well, what we do is we multiply that minus 1 by the number you factored out earlier. So the negative 2 is what you factored. Okay, the number you factored out earlier. Okay, that's going to balance it. So now we have y equals negative 2. Rewrite this as a binomial square, which is x plus 1. And then you need to simplify this by multiplying negative 1 times negative 2, which is 2. 1 plus 2 gives you 3 plus 3. And that's your equation in vertex form. So let's graph that. So we had y equals negative 2 x plus 1 minus 3. Let me just check back real quick. Plus 1 plus 3. Okay, my bad. All right, so let's graph vertex. What's the vertex? Jaheem, you paying attention? All right. Negative 1, 3. Again, the opposite of the inside. So negative 1 to the left and up 3. Now, this one is different because your A is different. What's your A? It's negative 2. Okay, multiply again by your odd numbers. Whoops. So negative 2, negative 6. The first time you go down 2. Now, and notice it's negative, so it's not a rise, it's a fall. You're going to go down. So you go down 2 over 1. Match it on the other side. Down 6, if I counted right, and 1 to the right. Match it on the other side. And then you have your graph. I totally missed that point. Sorry. Okay? All right, go ahead and practice some. Please make sure you work on the worksheet. If you have any questions, well, look back at your notes or ask your partner. Okay? See you tomorrow. Bye.